Hi guys, so this review was waiting in line for quite a long time because I've done the first look video several weeks ago and I have different things to do in the meantime, and that was waiting patiently. Last week or a week before I was attending an audio video show fair in Warsaw and I've been listening to reference Gryphon equipment in the show. So when I got back, I decided to speed up things a little bit and return to doing the full review for this amplifier. So basically, this is supposed to be a clone of Gryphon Tabu Century. I've checked and I've done some research about the actual schematics. A few of the offers on AliExpress attach the schematics to the photos of the internal build, so I'll try to link those for you. As far as I can tell, judging by the info that I could find over the web, especially on do-it-yourself audio forums, this Gryphon clone is actually, as I said, Tabu Century version. So I got this for something like $450. That was with some coupons, and that does not include shipping. Shipping will set you back additional $120. So all in all, this can be yours for something like $600. In this video, I'll talk about the internal and external build, and I'll also will tell you about the sound qualities of the amplifier. So basically, in the description for the video down below, you'll find the description for my audio setup that I've used during my listening tests. And you'll also find the store links underneath the video. The store links will be for the stores that I'm getting my equipment from. So I'm purchasing the amplifiers from these places, and I know that these are secure because, as you can see, the packages got here safely and on time. Okay, so Gryphon in general is a very well recognized high-end audio brand. Tabu Century can be yours. Original Tabu Century can be yours right now for something like $2,600, and this clone that's supposed to be very close to original, the total price would be $600. So it's quite a big difference in price. As I said, according to the schematics, this should be very close to the original. This should have no negative feedback in the PCBs. So in a way, this should sound and work similar to that D5 Pro clone that I've reviewed a couple of months ago. Okay, so let's move to some specs, some specification. Original Tabu Century was 100 watts into 8 ohms amplifier. This one is supposed to be 120 watts into 8 ohms. There are two sets of specification data in the sale offers on AliExpress for this amplifier. I'll be going with the one that has actual audio precision measurement data. So, as I said, 120 watts into 8 ohms and 240 watts into 4 ohms per channel. The weight of the unit is close to 15 kilograms. And then we have some very interesting data on the performance. Signal to noise ratio is supposed to be 116 decibels. Same goes for the dynamic range, and dynamic range is also specified as 116 decibels. Total harmonic distortion is very low because it's 0.0013%, so 2 zeros after comma, and THD plus noise is specified as 0.0082%. So it's way below 1%, and these are actually very good numbers for any type of audio amplifier. Okay, according to the manufacturer, it's using 500 watts toroidal transformer, and it's using 2 pairs of sunken C2922 and A1216 per channel, and these transistors are supposed to be chosen as pairs within 1% of tolerance. So that's also very good. Before we'll go to the build and the externals, internals, I'll tell you what I've measured. I'm measuring just basically very simple things. I've measured the power consumed by the device to be in range of 103-104 watts, regardless of if it's playing or if it's idling. I've also measured the temperature on the fins, on the radiators. So at most it was 44 degrees centigrade, and I've also measured the DCPS at the output with inputs shorted and with volume set to maximum. The DCPS was 1.3 for left channel and 1.5 millivolt per right channel, so very low values, basically no difference, both the same and both very close to zero. Now let's talk about the externals and the build inside. So in front of the amplifier we have a source selection knob, and we have volume setting knob, and of course power on, power off switch, and 2 LEDs stating the stating the left and right channel status. Before I'll go to the knobs, one thing worth mentioning here, the amplifier starts slowly. So if you power on the device, you'll have to wait for something like 3 seconds, I think, before the LEDs will go green. It may scare you because usually you're powering something on and it just works. In case of this amplifier, you have to work for a couple of seconds and then you see it actually does work. So don't be scared, just power it on and wait for a while. Okay, source selection. We have 3 sources: auxiliary, CD and digital to analog converter. At least that's how they are described here, but these are basically all single-ended inputs. I really like the way the selector works. It's not loose, it's not very hard to use it, it's just right. And the same goes for volume pot. It has just the right amount of torsion and it works very nice. Okay, on the sides, set of fins, heatsinks for left and right channels. In the back of the amplifier we have inputs, 3 sets of single-ended RCA inputs for auxiliary, CD and digital to analog converter, and we have speaker tabs for left and right channel. We also have power socket with integrated fuse compartment. Okay, the speaker tabs are quite nice, although they are exactly the same type that you've probably seen in my other reviews. It seems like everyone is using them. The input, RCA input plugs, not plugs, I don't know, sockets look like they are gold plated, but they do not scream high quality to me, but they work. Okay, now let's rotate that again and let's take a look at the chassis and at the internals. Okay, so as usual, the chassis is made of very thick and solid aluminum. As always, I really like the quality of the chassis. It's solid, it's heavy, it's working very well as a heatsink. although the amplifier is not heating up very much. As I said, 44 degrees centigrade tops at the edges of the fins, so it's not very hot at all. So what can we see inside? Now, a couple of general informations. Toroidal transformer rated for 500 watts. Could be bigger, probably, because as you can see, there's some more room. Capacitor banks. According to the description in the sale offer, these were supposed to be inch cons, but they're not. These are SAMWAs. Each one of them is rated for 6,800 microfarads. So all in all, we have, since there are 6 per channel, we have 12 of them altogether. So together in the amplifier we have 81,600 microfarads. That's a lot, but these caps would be my first point of upgrade. If I would be to change anything inside, I would replace these SAMWAs with something of better quality. But they work. They work. They are rated for 63 volts and 85 degrees centigrade. It's not that warm inside, so they'll be perfectly fine. What else can we see here? We can see here, starting from the beginning, a very nice source selection board with volume setting potentiometer. This one is Blue Alps, and what's really nice here is that it's not placed in the front with long cables carrying audio signal to the potentiometer and back to the board, but it's placed close to the boards and it's being operated by this metal rod. So this is a very good solution because the audio path is very short, and audio signal gets directly from volume pot to amplifier boards with these black cables. The source selection is also very well executed because these are Omron relays, and we're not actually using the front selection, no, this one, with audio input signal traveling all along here and then back to the board. This white flat cable is used to control the relays. So basically we are choosing which relay is closed, and the audio signal travels straight to volume pot. So this is a very, very good idea. Additional to fuse in the back, we have 2 fuses per channel on the upper and the lower side of the board. And the most obvious thing here is that these boards and these amplifiers are actually the same. So I wouldn't call it exactly dual mono configuration, because we have one toroidal transformer here that's common for both channels, but it's very close to dual mono setup. These are exactly the same identical boards for left and right channels. Okay, we have rectifiers here, 2 rectifiers per channel. Maybe let's rotate that. I love that rotating stand. And let's zoom a little. That was not a little. Okay, let's do it like that. All the red capacitors that you can see here and here are German Vima MKP capacitors. All the black caps are Rubicons on both boards, on the upper board and the lower board. On the lower board we'll have some nice ceramic capacitors as well. We'll have Omron relays here and for the other channel there. Yeah. What's interesting here? Let's rotate that a little. SAMWAs, as I said. I have no idea who's manufacturing these caps. I'm familiar with the logo, with this small M letter that can be seen on some of them, but I have no idea who actually does them. So if you recognize them, please give me a shout in the comments. Now, we have operational amplifier here. It's OP07C and it's probably used for DC bias setting in this amplifier. And what else interesting can be seen here? The boards are very neat. All the cables, all the wires are placed neatly inside, so it's a very elegant build. The wires that are connecting the output from the board to the speaker tabs are quite high quality, and I'm not saying that because it says high quality speaker cable here, but they are quite thick and they are braided copper. So I've seen worse. These are quite nice actually. What else can I tell you about the boards? I don't know if you'll be able to see that because I've seen it in one of the corners, but the boards are signed as T5 amplifier, and the boards are signed as designed in 2021, so about around 3 years ago, something like that. Yeah. The transistors, I've already told you the types, but they are also marked on the board here. Basically, the boards are very well described, so you can clearly see what kind of devices, what kind of parts are required. So I think that's all about the... yes, one more thing. We have two additional MKP capacitors, one per channel. These are 1 microfarad capacitors, and these would be my second thing to replace. I'm completely unfamiliar with the brand. This is something probably native to China, so these would be my second thing to replace right after power banks that are here. But all in all, do not take what I say as a critique. This is a very well executed amplifier build. The boards are very nice. All in all, I'd say that this is a very good value build, because if I would be buying these parts and chassis and transformer here locally in Europe, I would surely spend way more than the total price for that ready-made amplifier, shipping included. So these are the things that you may replace in time if you're up for it. But how does it sound? Let's find out. So the first aspect of the sound is bass. Bass is quick and precise. It creates here a very solid foundation for everything else, for the mid-range and for the treble. The bass here has a very good extension and texture. I actually love how many details I was able to hear when I've started to follow the bass guitar lines in some of the tracks that I have. In this regard, I wouldn't say this is a bass head amplifier, but it has a very high quality bass. It's like it's favoring quality over quantity, which is very good. No mid-range bleed whatsoever, so mid-bass is not bleeding into mid-range, and it's also a very good thing. I've always checked that, and I always tell you about that, because in the past I've heard some amplifiers that had problems with these. Okay, so moving to mid-range. Very, and once again, very detailed mids. Very neutral and uncolored, to the point when sometimes you can almost say it sounds dry, but it's not. It highly depends on the quality of your track. For well-recorded tracks, you'll be blown away. For the poorly recorded tracks, you will hear that they are poorly recorded. So it's very true, it's very natural, and it doesn't lie about the quality of the recordings. I think as long as it doesn't sound tubey, it doesn't have that warm mid-range, I would risk saying that this amplifier has most detailed mid-range of all amps that I've tested so far. So that's a very strong point. Okay. Voices. Very good detail on the voices. You can hear every small change of timbre in the female and male voices. Especially male voices are very nice here, because you can clearly hear when some of the sounds are very throaty and they are very vibrating. So that's something that I liked here. And moving from mid-range to treble, strings. Beautiful, very detailed, very vibrating strings. All instruments with strings will sound very, very good on this amplifier. When it comes to airiness and transparency, everything is perfectly right. Not too little, not too much. Again, it highly depends on the recording quality. If the recording is transparent and full of air, full of space, you'll be able to hear that with this amplifier. If the recording was made in some kind of club, let's say, it wasn't as heavy, it wasn't in such big venue, then you'll be able to hear that the ambience, that the venue was smaller. Which brings us to detail. As I already said, for all three, let's say, bands of frequency, there is a lot of detail in all of them, which means that it's basically a very detailed amplifier. It's excellent, but it doesn't sound analytical, which is very good in my book. If you want to, you can follow every small sound on the sides, in the back, in the front, with no problems. But this amplifier will not force you to do something like that. If you want to follow these sounds, you can, but it won't be forced into your ears. You can dive into details, and you can get back to the surface and listen to the whole song as it was recorded. And again, this can be a blessing and a curse, because this amplifier will not mask anything. So if you have old recordings, poorly made recordings, with some garage bands, with some bad equipment, you'll be able to hear and enjoy all the faults of the recording and production that was made later. So it's very true. It's very true and honest, which is good. I like that. But the upside of this is that in complicated recordings, in orchestral pieces, in choral pieces, you'll be able to easily hear the layers of the recording. You'll be easily able to discern the voices, the instruments. They will not blend together, creating some kind of plastic mass. You'll be able to hear separately violins, I don't know, pianos, etc., etc. So that brings us to scene and imaging. Well, the instruments are full size. We have a very good center image. As I said, layering is excellent, although the layers are not far from each other, which means that the depth information, although it's there, we won't have very deep scene. The layers will be precise, the layering is good, but the depth of the scene is not very big. It's not very deep. Left and right are good, but they are not excellent. They are good. I would say they are very good, but they are not excellent. And there was little information on the height. In some of the tracks it was there, in some of the tracks it was missing. So I was torn between deciding if it's because of the quality of the track or the amplifier itself. Because in some tracks the height information was clearly present. Okay, so one more good quality of this amplifier is that it's able to easily lose the speakers. it's able to take the sound from the speakers and create a believable soundstage in front of them. So you're not hearing two sources of the sound, but you're hearing the scene, you're hearing something that spans beyond the speakers. So that's also a very good thing. Okay, so we've covered all the usual parts of my review, and we can move to the part when I describe what happened when I used this amplifier with my Martin Logan Ascent electrostat speakers, because these are always very transparent and they will show you very honestly every good quality of your equipment and every problem with your equipment. And to my surprise, to my honest surprise, this amplifier sounded even better with Martin Logan electrostats than with Martin Logan Motion XT-B100 speakers. The full detail for my setup will be below the video. But anyway, I was very happy to hear that amplifier with my electrostats, because it gets nicely musical with them. It's as perfectly happy driving my Ascents as it was with dynamic speakers. There is no loss of airiness, there is no loss of detail, and it does scale up very well. Everything that was good with dynamic speakers is even better with electrostat speakers. So that was a very good and very pleasant surprise, because that's not obvious and that's not always the case with all amplifiers I review, even with very good constructions, very good builds. Why? Because electrostat speakers are very demanding and very problematic load, because in the treble region the impedance of the speaker drops to as low as 1.2 ohms. So it means that your amplifier has to be powerful enough and has to have high damping factor, and it's not very easy to have all of that and airiness and detail at the same time, and to be able to drive electrostats. So I was very happy to hear that it really syncs with my electrostats. Okay, now wrapping up, moving on to loose thoughts and summary. This amplifier does everything right, and it likes to play loud, but it's also excellent when playing quietly. I've checked that. You guys asked me for that in a couple of previous reviews, so I've been listening. Well, basically I always listen on let's say low to moderate volume levels. I'm not listening to disco music, I'm more trying to relax and focus on my music, so it's never very loud. Nevertheless, I've checked that with low volume levels, and it's as excellent with low volume levels as it is with high volume levels, but it has this quality that if you have your remote in your hand, you're just +1, +1. Oh, that's nice. Maybe a touch more, +1. Super. And a couple of minutes, +1, +1. So it likes to play loud, but it's also excellent when playing quietly. It just invites you to turn the volume up. It's amazing that it's cheaper than Dart Zeal. Close as they are, and as they are very similar, Dart Zeal is more expensive, and Dart Zeal has more three-dimensionality. The stereo imaging is better with Dart Zeal. I'm saying this because inevitably you will ask me about the comparison. I will do the comparison, as I wrote in many comments. I want to finish with single reviews before I'll move to comparisons and a kind of table that will have scores for all of them, because that's even more complicated than reviewing them separately. Okay, getting back to the amplifier, it's very transparent, and it was inviting me to play with cables. The transparency here is so good that I was easily able to hear all the changes coming from changing the cables, the speaker cables, the interconnects, and the power cable. So the positive side of that is that the result of this playing is that I'll speed up some of my waiting inline cable reviews. It scales very well with speakers, and again, I never felt like Astens, my Martin Logan electrostats, were too much for this amp. And I'm saying this again because remember, this one has just 100 or 120 watts into 8 ohms. It's 200 or 240 into 4 ohms, but still that's less than some of the amplifiers I reviewed, and that's a lot less. Okay, it has good dynamics, but there was one amplifier that I reviewed earlier. I can't remember right now which one was that, but there was just one amplifier that was scary fast and better in one of my test tracks. One of my test tracks is Fallout 3, a main theme played by London Philharmonic Orchestra. It's not from the movie, it's from the original game, but it's a beautiful piece and it's played beautifully by Philharmonic Orchestra. Anyway, it starts with sudden wall of sound, and there was one amplifier that was faster than this one, that could actually scare me with this first hit of the sound. Okay. As for pairings, as it was for Dartzil, I would be happily pairing this amplifier with Carry LPS 90 tube preamplifier clone. However, you need to remember that this is not just a power amp, as I usually review power amps, but this is well executed, integrated. What's the difference? In my opinion, power amp that has just volume pot added as an afterthought with long cables here and there is not really integrated, because you just get volume pot for your one input. In this case, we have a really thought of volume control, and we have really good and really well designed input selection. It has 3 inputs only. 3 inputs should be enough for most of us. But all in all, when I see it internally, I don't feel the need for bypassing the volume control. So for me, it's well executed, integrated. And yes, you may obviously use preamplifier with that, but you can just use it as it is with your source selection and volume control here. Okay. Why was I mentioning the carry? I was mentioning carry because it would possibly add a hint of warmness, of tube warmness, if you like that kind of thing. And the other thing, carry is very three-dimensional. It's very holographic. So the only area that I think could be fixed in this amplifier, could be better in this amplifier, is this imaging. I would like to have it more depth, more high information, and Carry was extremely good with providing these qualities. Okay, important thing to notice, as I said, is that it's integrated. All in all, this Gryphon Tabu Century clone gets my very warm recommendation. I really like the sound, I really like the functionality, I really like the build, and I really like the looks of it. There is one seller, just one of them, that sells version that has red heatsinks and slightly golden chassis. It looks even better, but that's just one guy. I'll give you all the links in the description. Though I'm not sure, I don't think I've checked that particular store. That's why I got the regular silver version. Because it's more important to get it safely and on time than because of the color. Okay. As always, check the links under the description, under the video in the description. The interesting thing here is that this Gryphon clone is not as popular as some other clones that I've reviewed. I mean, there are clones that you can see that they are provided by dozens of shops on Ali, although they may be a little bit different internally, and this may result in differences in sound. But this one can be bought in just 3 or 4 stores on Ali. So anyway, if you feel that you like this review, or if this review helped you to decide whenever you want to get one, or you will pass on that one, you're more than welcome to buy me a beer. I will use that beer to relax during my next listening session. And you can do that via super thanks on the YouTube under the video, but above the comments there will be a button for super thanks or something like that. Okay, so wrapping this up, if I forgot about anything, or if you'd like to know more on something that you've seen inside, feel free to ask me, feel free to give me a shout in the comments. And thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. For those of you that are watching my videos on a regular basis, a couple of things. First thing is that's the next guy that will be receiving the full video review, and these ones I started to play last night because I just received the packages with microphones. As I was promising, I'll try to work on sound demos, but you have to remember that that's lost battle. I've realized that if I want to record a sound from amplifier in $1,000 range, and if I want to record this maybe not ideally accurately, but in a way that I'll be happy with it, I'll have to spend another $1,000 for equipment that will be able to capture the sound from this amplifier. So anyway, I'm trying to do this on cheap. I'm learning along the way. I hope my videos my sound demos will be good, and keep your fingers crossed for that. So that's all for today. I hope you'll have a great and wonderful day ahead of you. It's very sunny Sunday here. Thank you. Let's stay in touch. Stay tuned for more videos. Bye guys.